course of that particular philosophy. It's not enough if he happens to be a Hindu. Please understand that. So think of Hinduism like a telescope. The largest lens or the bigger lens is the Hindu lens, but it keeps opening into small lenses, and each small lens is the sect and the subsect. So if the institution belongs to the subsect, then the institution must be run by people who are in that particular subsect. Why is this point important? 2 days ago, the Supreme Court has come out with a verdict saying, when you issue tenders for shops surrounding a certain temple, apparently non-Hindus can apply for that particular tender. Because it is a secular activity. What has it got to do with religion? You see how this distinction works? The moment you separate the secular from the religious in the context of a religious institution, you are creating an anomaly, because everything about a religious institution is religious, 100%. Why? Because I am interested in using the resources of my community only for my community is good and nobody else is good. I am entitled to make that particular statement. I don't need to prove my secular credentials with respect to a religious institution. If I can't be religious with respect to a religious institution, where will I be religious? I don't understand. Look at the stupidity of this position. This is the one place where I'm allowed to wear my religion on my sleeve, where I'm entitled to say, yes, I'm a Hindu, yes, I'm a Shakta, yes, I'm a Shaivite. Nobody else who does not subscribe to this particular sampradaya has a business entering into this particular place. Whether you're a Hindu or not doesn't make a difference. As long as you do not subscribe to the traditions of this particular place, you will not set foot inside this place. That should be your position. What is so wrong about this? A Baptist cannot enter the church of a Seventh-day Adventist. They have these denominational rivalries going on so much that if one person from one particular denomination marries another person from another particular denomination, they will be denied even access to burial grounds. Do we do that in our communities? If that is the case, it is important for the judiciary to understand one or two things. One, when it strikes a distinction between religious aspects of a religious institution and secular aspects of a secular institution, it is effectively pushing a Hindu dharmic institution into a Christian setup. I'll give you another example. And Srihari is aware of this because both of us have worked on quite a few matters together. What is the word in English for sampradaya? Religious denomination is the word that the constitution uses for sampradaya. Now, religious denomination as a word in the 1950s obviously could have meant only Christian denominations, because this word is traceable and its definition in Oxford dictionary around that period obviously was not a reference to Hindu institutions in the 1950s. So when this word was being interpreted by the Supreme Court in 1954 in the Shirur Mutt judgment, which is one of the Ashtamathas, please read that judgment because it has huge consequences. And that is currently the subject of the Sabarimala judgment as well as petitions relating to freeing temples from state control. So what I will do is that I will share the link to the judgment to the organizers so that all of you can read it. Now assume for a moment that you are trying to find the meaning of a term that is used in Quran. Will you refer to the Oxford dictionary to understand its meaning? You will not. Then why do you want to use the Oxford dictionary to understand the meaning of the word sampradaya? What is the logic? So in that judgment, which is treated as the landmark judgment on what is the meaning of a religious denomination, not one reference to one Hindu commentary on what is the meaning of a sampradaya. Because the court was trying to understand what is the role of a matha and what is the role of a mathadipati in a matha. And the question was whether a matha and its followers constitute a religious denomination within the meaning of Article 26, so that they can protect their independence in matters of running the institution as well as religious affairs. This was the question that the court was asking. during the entire analysis, not one whisper on what is the meaning of a matha. Whether a matha or a sampradaya as understood in dharma is the same as the manner in which a religious denomination is understood in Christianity. No such question is ever asked. Why? Because the constitution is written in English. And therefore, your go-to reference when you don't understand the meaning of a word or if you think it's ambiguous is an English dictionary. So understand the close nexus between bhasha and thinking, how they influence each other and what kind of outcomes it can lead to. So in that judgment, here's what the Supreme Court does. It says, Mathadipati is someone who is meant to be the custodian of that particular institution, and therefore, if an executive officer is appointed by the state to supersede the powers of the Mathadipati and take away his power to run that particular institution, it effectively translates to government takeover of the Matha, which is not permissible. To that extent, the court is right. Now, since that judgment was delivered in the context of a Matha, and this was in the context of the Hindu religious and charitable endowment legislations of then Madras Presidency, which included current day Karnataka, certain parts of Andhra Pradesh, and current day Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu government said, since the judgment was delivered only in the context of a Matha, according to the Supreme Court, I can't take over a Matha, but I can take over a temple which is not connected to a Matha. So the logic of the state government is, it was a Matha which was the subject of the judgment, not a temple which is not connected to a Matha. And therefore, the freedom and independence that is available to a Matha is not available to those institutions that are not connected to a Matha. So today as it stands, as the law stands, these legislations strike a distinction between temples which are standalone temples and temples which are connected to Mathas.